Well, hello everyone. It's been a few days, or a few weeks, a month. Sorry guys. Anyways, long story short, I've been focusing a lot of my energy on getting my wife Heidi, her business up and going, getting all of my stuff out of the garage I was in, redoing that garage so it's comfortable for her to work in, and then getting all that stuff into here and somewhat organized. It's not fully organized yet, but yes, I am in my building finally. The lighting's not that great yet. The audio probably needs a little work, and it is very echoey in here because there's no insulation or anything. All problems that will be resolved someday, but for now, I need to get back to fixing cars and making money. So stay tuned, because today my main focus is to get the wiring complete on the Spitfire here so that we're one step closer to getting this thing flipped to make some money. Thank you. No folks, I am not cooking the spaghetti. I am doing some wiring, as I said previously. Don't know why I did that, but anyways. So, we got all through the bulkhead here of the cabin, all the wiring for the headlights, the fan, the ignition, anything that goes under the hood here. So, with that being said, I'm going to get them all organized where they go, and then we're going to land them so that we have the right length. So we're going to connect them all. Then we're going to take all that apart and loom it so it's all nice, neat, not tight banjoing. We call it banjoing in the wiring world because you don't want to play it like a banjo, like, or however the song goes. So that was pretty good. Let's do it again. Anyways, so that being said, I'm going to start figuring out once again, because it's been like a month since I did this, what every wire does, and then we're going to start connecting them. Okay, so we have everything bound and generally an idea of where it's supposed to be in the engine bay. Like there's your alternator wiring, oil pressure switch for the dummy light, Petronics running up to the coil power, so on and so forth, lighting, all that is sort of ran in a general idea of where it's going. Now that we've done that, I need to start taking the wires and putting terminals on them so we can actually connect them to where they're supposed to be. And then after that, I'll be right back and we're going to take it all apart and then loom it up. I'll show you how to do that. Let me show you what we got going on now. So we're coming out of the bulkhead. I got it split there. We got the wiring going to the accessories on the motor. Coming down, fuel pump, got to connect those two right there. We'll do that after it's loomed. Then we're gonna come under where the factory runs it to the fan, where that wire is a positive, and it runs the switch through the ground. So we're going to come up here, continue the harness to the turn signals go under here, the headlights up there, the other headlight over there, turn signal over there, and the horn. So now we have everything where it's going to be comfortable. Let's go ahead and pull it all out to this point here, and then we're going to loom everything up nice, neat, tight, and everything. Now we got everything pulled out, I can show you a little bit better about my train of thought here. The last zip tie, like for instance here, is where this harness is going to split off here. So I know I need to put a junction here and put loom up to here and get it all nice taped and everything. And same thing here at this zip tie here. So what we're going to do is every single zip tie I need to replace with tape. So I'm going to do that right now. Now that we have everything taped instead of zip tied, let's start feeding this down the end. Now they do have this stuff that does split, I don't have it right now. Both are fine to work with. Honestly, I prefer to split stuff for the bigger stuff because you don't have to go through feeding this through the whole loom and stuff. But this stuff works great. Just either one of them works great. But that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out real quick because it's going to take about probably 5-7 minutes to feed this all the way down. Depending if I make any mistakes too and have to take it apart again, such as I miss a wire or something like that. So I'll be back when that's done. I got it all on here, and now we have to make our junctions. Now this is where you have to be super careful because you have to take your time and look where they're poking, that the wires are splitting off. You see here, this is a major interchange here, so carefully stick your scissors in there. You don't want to nip the wire at all, or else you have to rerun it. So now that that is nipped, I'm going to take my heat source and quickly, because we can use the advantage of the low melting point of this vinyl versus the high melting point of the wire, and actually pull this apart using the heat and that cut that we made. Kind of just melt it away where you make yourself a nice little access point. And on top of that, it's all nice and connected so that it doesn't just unravel on you. Now we have that. I found a pick. You use any pick. I have this dental one, and I know that this red wire right here is one of them. Try not to stab the wire that we need to pull out of this loom. And we could take this loom here and give us more slack to work with. See how I did that? Got all kinds of like pulling space now. So now let's rehook that wire and work it out. Slowly work it out. Okay, we got started. Now let's move to our fingers. See if we can pull the whole harness part that is connected there. If not, we'll just pull this back and we'll do it manually. Give some more slack. Give me slack, Jack. Got me some slack, Jack. Name of the movie. Alright, it's coming. We're getting somewhere. There's one. So we're just going to go through, do the whole harness like this, and then eventually we'll take all these little branches and loom them as well so that they're all nice, protected, purdy, and all that. So if you excuse me, I'm going to go work on that now. Now that we have all the wires pulled through up until our indicator lights here, we're going to find out where they end and about right here. So we're going to try to keep an idea. That's about 6 inches from the end. So let's pull this all nice and tight. And then I can actually see it through the loom here. We're going to make sure to have all of our wires away from where we're going to cut. Then we're going to take, stab through with our cutters, snip all the way. Then we're going to push the wires to the other side, and then same thing, snip. And hopefully, if we haven't missed any, which we did, that's all right. Pull them to the other side again, snip it off, like so. Look at that. I think it's turning out all right. So now we got this. Let's stretch her out, tape the end. I used the green tape because it matches the body. I'm so quirky. It's very lonely out here. Anyways, enough laughing at my own jokes. let me just wrap this one up because it's nice, close to the end. We aren't going to loom that. We're just going to put our connector on it and call it a good day. So that's how we terminate it. So now we got all these wires here that we have to loom or protect somehow. So I'm going to go grab the smaller loom and literally just how I did this here, I'm going to tee it up against there and then tape it all around, make it look somewhat presentable. So next time you see me, hopefully that's all done. Hey guys, I decided to work the rest of the day yesterday or the day before anyways, off camera, because it was a lot of the same, a couple new things, but I'll go through and show you what I did. So I did complete the wiring for the engine bay, including the alternator, coil, headlights, turn signals, fan, and it's all tested and working good. I did order a few things that I needed, such as a starter solenoid here, or relay, and battery cables and terminals. And a horn, because, you know, you need a horn. There was a horn, but it was rusty, and I shook it, and it had stuff in it, so I decided just to buy a new one. So, with that being said, we're going to move to the trunk. So let me get that all cleaned off, and then we'll start wiring taillights. Now, it has been about a month, like I said earlier, since I've been on this, so I totally forget what's in here. Looks like a bunch of the interior, which is amazing. I do have to redo the door cards, which I did order material, so I will be doing that. But let me get this stuff cleaned out so we have plenty of room to work. I'll find a place on the shelf of doom, and we'll go from there. Now that we're back here in the trunk, I'm going to start pulling covers off of here and just getting a good idea of what we have to hook up. I mean, it looks like we have turn signal, brake light, illumination, reverse light, license plate lights, which will be on your illumination circuit, and sending unit for the fuel tank. So let me start popping covers like I said, and then I'll be back. We're going to do a time lapse real quick here for that. Hey y'all, I just wanted to stop the time lapse real quick to show you something that I actually 3D printed, and someone actually made this file on Thingiverse and let others use it for free, which thank you very much. I will post you in the description, so if anyone else needs these, they could go there, give them a decent tip for, you know, sharing it with us or whatnot. So what these are the side markers on the outside of the fender, and as you can see by my hands that were somewhat clean a minute ago, that they definitely needed replaced. So that's the other thing. If you can afford it, a 3D printer, like even just a cheap Ender 3 with upgraded hot end, you can print stuff like this and save a lot of money. I think for a set of these, it was, I don't know, I forget, it was extraordinary. It was crazy how much they wanted for them. So I was able to 3D print them thanks to that guy, which he'll be in the description and whatnot. So let me get this repacked. I'm going to test the lights and make sure they work before I go through the effort of putting it back on. And then we're going to put it on the side and continue wiring. Now that we have all the wiring in the back here, I got my fuel gauge here, we got the brake light, a few other things. How we're going to do this is I'm going to cut the wire where it is supposed to land on this side. If it travels to the other side, like your turn signal, I'm not going to mess with that. But like your brakes and your backup lights, I'm going to cut it here for the first one and here for the first one of the two. And then you see how they tied it together here? I'm going to do the exact same thing at this point, pigtail off to the other side here. So I'm going to hop you back in time lapse and we're going to do that again. We are on the turn signal indicator over here on the right side, which I'm also going to use the side marker over here to indicate that for visibility purposes. I feel it's better to have a turn signal on the side so that people can see what you're doing. Anyways, so I'm going to show you how I do an inline splice on these. This is going to be pretty much a full stick of shrink wrap, but use the appropriate size, let's call it, and just pull a little bit to where you can break the coating around the wire. You do not want to cut the wire because that will limit the amount of conductor you're going to push through. So carefully score around until you can break the coating around it to where you can see the copper wire all the way around. And then we're going to take a knife, and this is a dangerous part. I have cut myself and had to get stitches doing this, so there might be better tools, but that was about 10-15 years ago, so just be careful when you do this. But you want to skin the wire, or start to, and then you can pull it apart. Throw that off to the side, I'll sweep later. And then you want to pull that middle skin completely off of that wire. So now you have a gap about 1/2 inch there that you can. Now I got my little piece here. Ooh, I don't like that. Is that long enough? Yeah, we can cut that down later. Anyways, so cut about, I'd say 3/4 to 1 inch, strip back, and then take your wire you just did this through, split it in the middle, in between stranded wire, so you can actually push this wire through it. Then just give everything a nice tight wrap. And now you actually have a good physical connection, but now we're going to solder it. So let's heat up the soldering iron. I love this little guy. Just hate that it cuts out after about 5 minutes. It'll start to shut down. Yeah, probably 10 minutes. Anyways, so while that's heating up, we're going to pick our shrink wrap. I think it's going to be, probably be bigger than that. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab the other box. I need to consolidate it all. Oh yeah, this is the one I was using on Mojo because it got on the header. Huh, okay. Anyways, so, oh, now it's welded shut. Oh, that's fun. Okay, grab this decent sized piece. Close that up. Always latch your shrink wrap, because if it falls or something like that, you're gonna have a bad day. Well, not the worst, but you know, it's not fun. We like having fun here on Forsaken Classics. Okay, I'm trying to center it, but the wire's not cooperating, so I'll turn you guys here if I can. All right, so now we're gonna solder this guy up. Let's see if I can do this like this. Oh yeah, there we go. Start melting her in. This is a quick technique where you just heat the solder and let it flow in, as opposed to heating the whole wire. You can actually come to the bottom then, and then take your solder, and then the flux will actually pull the rest of it through and make yourself a good joint like that. Yeah, don't like tails that are sharp. Alright, that looks like a pretty decent joint. So now, let's take our shrink wrap that we found, put that over it, and then actually I want to do something further. I'm going to lose the shrink wrap if I do that. Anyways, so we got that. Let's shrink her down. If you're using a torch in your trunk that has a gas tank in it, like that one, make sure you don't have any vapor leaks or anything like that. This car doesn't. I love this car. It's actually in really good condition. Anyways, so we got that all shrink wrapped. It's marine grade. You can stick this in water and it will not conduct. So that is how you do an inline splice to add another junction. And this is, like I said, is going to go to the side marker of the car. So now that is done, I'm going to put a spade, female spade on here, and then we'll push it on that turn signal. And then once we get our side marker installed, the one that I showed you earlier with new parts, we'll go ahead and wire that up. I'm thinking we use quick connects or weather packs like we did on the front. So if they ever need to take that off for any reason, it's just a quick snap and pull apart. And also, when you use those weather packs, always put a little bit of dielectric grease on it so that it helps seal better, and also keeps the moisture out. Duh, that's what point I was trying to make. Anyways, so now that is said, I'm gonna cut that off, and I'm gonna get back to work. And we're back to regular video again. Okay, so I trimmed this to length to where it's appropriate for the weather pack connector, so the line is not too long or too short. So on these weather pack connectors, I think these are Delphi style, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Came from the Amazon. But to make these, you have two different style of pins. You got a female and a male. And this plastic housing here is what houses these, and all it does is literally just push these two pins together and create the connection. But this housing is important because one, insulates it, and two, it prevents weather intrusion. So now we're going to do the female side first, which is the power side, which I prefer because, you know, you have less chance of something grounding out or something if that connector comes apart. Anyways, the first thing we need to do is slip this this little yellow gasket on here. like so. They can be very fun on these thicker coated wires. So there we go. And it's okay to push that back for now. Give yourself a little more space to work. Now, this is important. Trim up your end to where it's nice, square, and has no wire sticking out or excess coating. Then we want to take our strippers and strip about 1/8 of an inch. These are really tight. They kind of are hard to work with at times. Then we need to work our gasket to the edge of the coating of the wire. And then we have two different sections here. We have the wider one and a narrow one. The wider one is for the edge of the gasket and the coating. The narrow one is for the wire alone. This is the tricky part, especially if you bought a cheap crimper like I did years ago. So now I do have to close these just a little bit. This won't be necessary if you have a better crimper than me, but this is what I have to work with. Now you can see everything's lined up pretty good. This wire is not intruding into this little pocket right here, which there is actually a clip in here, is how it holds in, and then this little red thing actually holds that clip in place so that it can't pull out. So now let's take my wonderful cheap crimpers and crimp this baby down. I like to hold it for a sec, squeeze it a couple times, get that wire really working in there. So now this should be pretty good, I hope. It don't look the best, but it should do the job. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to recrimp that back one so it has more tension or ability to hold it in place. And another tip is push in gently, not crazy, on it so that the coating doesn't slip out of the gasket. Okay, that looks a lot better. So now we give her a tug test. It's on there good. So we need to figure out which way is up. Usually on these, the red indicates up for the tab. So that little gap right there will sit inside the tab. Let's listen for a click. You gotta be quiet now. There it is. Did you hear it? So it is in place. It's not coming out. Let's push that safety in. It's really not going to come out now. And that is how you do a crimp weather pack connector. Now, this kit is kind of neat. I'm not trying to advertise for it. It's just what I actually bought to work on Mojo. I have a lot of these in there. And if you do them right, they will hold moisture out and they will work for many years to come. And as you can see, how they seal is they got a nice rubber seal along here that goes into the receiver and it just clips into place like so. Now I'm not going to push that in because I don't want to push that red seal in, the red red retainer, because it'll make it really hard to get the male side in. That being said, I got this side pretty much knocked out, so now I can focus my energy over here on the other side. Okay, so I have everything terminated, soldered, weather packed that we need to back in the back here. So I do need to do the sending unit yet. My only problem is I'm down to my last spade terminal, female spade. Oh, there's two, but they don't match. They don't look good. I'm probably gonna need 100 more to do the rest of the vehicle. So I'm pretty much at a standstill right now. So I think that's where we're gonna leave it this week. I will be continuing to film as soon as I get more parts in and all that, but I have no idea when I will get the next video out. I don't know how long the footage was I took of this, so if it's a longer video, thank you for staying to the end, and if it's a shorter video, thank you very much for staying to the end. It really helps me out if you hit that subscribe button, if you like it, or if you like it enough to share it with your friends and family. That all helps me out so much. My wife and I, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you much for your continued support, and I sincerely apologize for the length between my videos here. If you go over to my wife's channel, the Picking Gilla, I'll put it in the description. That way you can actually get a little bit more information what I've been working on for her, as opposed to on my vehicles. Those subscriptions, those likes, that helps me get to that goal to where I can grow this channel and continue to get more projects like the Mercury, which you guys absolutely loved and destroyed that like button on. I really would love to work on that because you guys like it so much. But the Spitfire is what I need to sell next, because it's actually a really good condition vehicle, and it is the easiest one that I could get out the door, so I can start making some money, so I can continue to make videos for you. It's a fish, it's snaky, it's tail, you know, understand. Sorry I've been going on forever, but my intentions with the Mercury, the 52 Merc, is I do want to restore it to a drag vehicle, and I want to take it to Bradenton Motorsports and run it down a quarter mile, test and tune nights or whatever. But to get to that point, I need to start growing my business. So I really, really appreciate you staying to the end past my long-winded explanation, and thank you. So that being said, we're gonna roll the beach footage of me driving down a local beach here. I really hope that you stay safe and you have a wonderful week, couple weeks, however long until the next time I see you. Have a wonderful day. Hey guys, real quick, just want to announce that Sunday evenings I will actually be streaming video games at 9 p.m. Every Sunday is what I am going to attempt to do on Twitch streaming. The link will be down in the description. Thank you again, and you have a wonderful day.